Imagine a world where survival meant facing down a beast the size of a small elephant, armed with nothing but raw courage and sharp stone. This isn't just a story. It's a forgotten chapter of human ingenuity against the impossible. We often look back at our ancient ancestors and see struggle, simple lives in a brutal world. But what if I told you their lives were packed with triumph so grand, so audacious, they'd make modern heroes gasp? We're talking about the Ice Age, a time when our forebears weren't just surviving, they were mastering the art of facing giants. This isn't just another tale of a bygone era. This is a journey into the heart of human resilience, a testament to the unbreakable spirit that forged our very existence. You're about to witness how our ancestors, against all odds, stared down colossal predators and emerged victorious, proving that the greatest weapon we possess has always been our minds. Picture North America, not as the familiar landscape we know today, but as a vast, untamed wilderness sculpted by mile-high glaciers. This was a land where mammoths thundered, saber-toothed cats prowled, and towering ground sloths lumbered through ancient forests. Our ancestors, small bands of resourceful humans, stepped onto this stage, armed with little more than their wits and crude tools. This was a world that demanded respect, a world where every rustle in the tall grass could mean the difference between life and death. The air was colder, the stakes were higher, and the very concept of safety was a fleeting luxury. It was a crucible that forged the strongest, the smartest, the most adaptable among us. These early humans weren't just passing through, they were trying to carve out a home, a life, a future. And to do that, they needed resources. Lots of them. That often meant looking at the biggest, most dangerous animals around, not just as threats, but as a potential bounty, if they could only figure out how to take them down. Now, let's talk about our star antagonist, the Giant Ground Sloth. Forget everything you think you know about today's tree-dwelling sloths. These ancient behemoths, like Megatherium americanum, stood as tall as a giraffe on their hind legs, weighing up to 4 tons, the same as a modern elephant. Their powerful claws, more than a foot long, weren't just for digging, they were formidable weapons, capable of disemboweling a challenger with a single swipe. Their hides were thick, almost armored, protecting them from most common predators, and their sheer size meant they had very few natural enemies. They were slow, yes, but their reach was immense, their strength legendary, and their temperament, while generally docile, could turn into a furious, life-ending rage when threatened. These were creatures of immense power, moving mountains of muscle and bone through the prehistoric landscape. They browsed on tough vegetation, their massive bodies fueled by plants, but they were not to be trifled with. For early humans, encountering a giant ground sloth was less like meeting a deer and more like encountering a mobile, living tank. So why would a small group of humans, with their relatively fragile bodies and limited weaponry, even consider challenging such a beast? The answer lies in the harsh realities of Ice Age survival. Meat was calories, and calories were life. A successful hunt meant not just food for days, but hides for warmth, bones for tools, and sinew for cordage. It was a jackpot that could sustain an entire band through lean times. But it wasn't just about hunger. It was about knowledge, strategy, and understanding their prey. These hunters weren't reckless. They were master observers, studying patterns, knowing the animal's habits, its strengths, and crucially, its weaknesses. They understood that sheer brute force wasn't their advantage. Collective intelligence was. They likely didn't just stumble upon a sloth and decide to attack. This was calculated. This was planned. They scouted, they tracked, they waited, they assessed the terrain, considering escape routes and ambush points. It was a high-stakes game of prehistoric chess, where every move could mean the difference between a feast and a funeral. Imagine the scene. A small band, perhaps a dozen individuals, moving silently through the dense foliage. Their hearts pound, but their resolve is unwavering. They've found their target, a solitary giant ground sloth, perhaps a juvenile or an older, slower individual, grazing near a bog or a steep cliff face. The strategy is set. Their weapons were not the advanced spears and bows we often envision, but probably heavy wooden spears with fire-hardened tips or stone points meticulously crafted. At Laddel's, spear throwers would have given them greater range and impact, but their most powerful weapon was coordination. They would have worked as a unit, each person playing a critical role. Perhaps one group would act as a distraction, drawing the sloth's attention, while another circled to its flanks or rear. They wouldn't try to kill it outright with a single blow. Instead, it would be a relentless, grueling attack of attrition, jabbing, wearing it down, aiming for vulnerable spots like the underbelly or the joints, and always, always staying just out of reach of those monstrous claws. This wasn't a clean fight. A wounded ground sloth would have been a terrifying force, thrashing, roaring, and swinging its massive limbs. One wrong step, one moment of hesitation, and a hunter could be swatted aside like a fly, crushed beneath a powerful foot, or ripped open by those formidable claws. The adrenaline would have been immense, the fear palpable, but mixed with that fear was a fierce determination. These were people fighting not just for themselves, but for their entire community, for their children waiting back at camp. Every thrust of a spear, every agile dodge, was a testament to their will to survive. They might have used the environment to their advantage, driving the sloth into a natural trap, a bog where its weight would hinder its movement, or towards a cliff where a fall could severely injure it. They would have needed speed, agility, and the unbreakable bond of trust between each member of the hunting party. This wasn't just a hunt, it was a life-or-death performance. When the giant finally fell, exhausted and broken, a wave of profound relief and triumph would have swept through the band. This wasn't just a successful hunt, it was a monumental achievement. The processing of such a massive carcass would have been an event in itself, requiring hours, if not days, of meticulous work. But the rewards were immense. The meat provided essential protein and fat, crucial for survival in a harsh climate. The bones became tools, needles, and spear points. The thick hide, painstakingly tanned, offered protection from the elements, becoming clothing, shelter coverings, or even boat material. Every part of the animal was honored and utilized, a testament to the respect they held for the life they had taken. This triumph echoed far beyond the immediate hunger it satisfied. It reinforced the community's bonds, proved their collective strength and intelligence, and instilled a deep sense of confidence. It was a story told around the fire, a lesson passed down to the next generation, inspiring courage and resilience. It solidified their place in a world filled with giants, proving that human ingenuity could overcome even the most daunting physical challenges. So, what does the epic struggle between early humans and giant ground sloths tell us today? It's a powerful reminder of the incredible capacity for adaptation, courage, and collective intelligence that defines humanity. These weren't just primitive people. They were strategic thinkers, master craftsmen, and fearless warriors. Their world was a constant test, and they met it with an unwavering spirit. They remind us that the challenges we face today, while different, can be overcome with the same blend of observation, planning, and teamwork. The drive to innovate, to adapt, to face down the seemingly impossible, that spirit isn't new. It's written into our very DNA, forged in the crucible of the Ice Age, in moments like the hunt for the giant ground sloth. It's an inspiring legacy that continues to empower us. Ultimately, the story of prehistoric humans hunting giant ground sloths is a powerful saga of survival and ingenuity. It showcases how our ancestors, using intelligence, strategy, and teamwork, conquered colossal challenges, turning formidable beasts into vital resources. Their incredible courage and resilience in a brutal Ice Age world weren't just about survival. They were about defining what it means to be human. That kind of bravery is something to celebrate. What ancient human achievement or challenge inspires you most? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you're ready to uncover more forgotten triumphs of human history, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure.